Right now at 10, the Brewers work to bring the Cubs to the brink of elimination. We'll hear from fans outside of AmFam Field before Game 2 got underway tonight.
And the Sun Prairie School District holds its annual meeting. We'll hear how community members held them accountable.
Plus, wide receiver Christian Watson back on the practice field, how he is feeling after his months-long recovery in Green Bay. It's all ahead on News 3 Now at 10. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson. Well, the Brewers are fresh off a weekend win against the Cubs.
The Crew now looking to bring Chicago closer to elimination tonight. Game 2 in full swing at the moment. The Cubs scored 3 in the first, but that has not stopped the Crew. Andrew Vaughn hit a 3-run shot to tie it in the bottom half of the first. And Jackson Chourio added another 3-run homer to give the Brewers the 7-3 lead. Right now, they're in the bottom of the 5th. And with the Brewers looking to put the Cubs in a tougher spot with a Game 2 win tonight, fans were out there early to get ready for tonight's game.
They sure were. Armand Rahman checked in with tailgaters as they prepared to root the Brew Crew to victory.
To get the energy to cheer on the Brewers swinging those bats, these fans are swinging these brats.
Go! Got to have the bags, of course, brats, burgers, the whole thing.
It's round 2 of the I-94 rivalry, which means round 2 of the biggest baseball party in the Midwest.
This is a pretty standard thing for us to tailgate and, soak in all the environment and festivities.
You'll never know what traditions bring a smile to Brewers fans' faces. Sometimes the traditions are their faces.
We've been doing it since 2013. It's permanent here today. We go to work like this. We do it for the entire season. We just support them until they're done, and then we go green and gold.
It's not just for show. Players after Game 1 said it themselves. The home field advantage isn't possible without the fans putting in the work.
We want to send those Cub fans home unhappy.
But don't forget Midwest nice, so not too unhappy.
Nobody's said anything bad to us yet so far, so far so good.
A Game 2 win would be huge for the Brewers, but even for some Cubs fans in enemy territory, the love for their team runs deep.
It's my dad's birthday, and he passed away. We're here celebrating Gary's birthday, so we want a Cubs win.
No matter what side of the border you're on, when I'm a Brewers fan, the first pitch goes out under that covered dome.
It's going to be rowdy. It's going to be rowdy today.
Reporting from AmFam Field, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
Go Brewers!
Go Brewers is right. And there's a change from the record warmth we saw really up until yesterday. It was pretty toasty out there, but now we're seeing some off and on showers.
It feels great out there. Meteorologist Blaze Keller has more on the rain and these cooler temps coming along with it.
Yeah, we were about 20 degrees to 25 degrees cooler than even 24 hours ago today. And obviously, I bet that difference would be much greater than if we step all the way back to Friday when some of us got into the low 90s. A cold front moved through earlier today and brought some shower activity. Right now, we find most of that rain off towards the Milwaukee area, but we're still dealing with some light rain showers in and around Viroqua. It is getting a little bit difficult to kind of pick out these showers, but in and around Soldiers Grove, maybe just south of Viroqua, a little bit of rain activity. We're getting a little bit of radar clutter here out of La Crosse, so it is a little bit more difficult, but it does help us see that shower activity going on in parts of Fond du Lac as well as Dodge and Jefferson counties, because we also get the radar clutter out of Milwaukee as well. It's just that time of the year, and it's just that time at night where we sometimes get a little bit of radar clutter. Now, a high pressure system is going to move on in, and that's going to push out any remaining rain activity as we go into the early morning hours on Tuesday. By the mid to late morning hours onward, we should be sitting underneath clear to mostly clear conditions. We're going to be dealing with northerly winds, so it is going to be a comfortable Tuesday with temperatures in the 60s. Now, we could be waking up to some frost out there, but not tonight. So we're going to turn our attention to northern Wisconsin, where they have that freeze watch in effect. This is that cooler air that's being brought on down that will make its way southwards as we head later on into this week. We'll talk about that, as well as any more rain chances coming up in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, thank you. And now to a News 3 Now exclusive. The Sun Prairie Area School District is just now wrapping up its annual meeting where community members had a chance to vote on some very important issues.
Our Tanisha Shaw was there at Sun Prairie East. And Tanisha, the residents in Sun Prairie voted no no confidence in the superintendent, Brad Sarin. What does that mean?
Eric and Sarah, this is the first step to put Sun Prairie Superintendent Brad Sarin, to put him on a performance improvement plan, and that could lead to further disciplinary action. This meeting happens every single year, and it's different from a regular school board meeting. The Sun Prairie School District went over their finances, and parents had the opportunities to make motions on what they could vote on. In addition to all the finances and all the things that they talked about, they voted 68 to 45 for no confidence for Sarin. They also voted to lower the levy limit.
Trust you 100%. We don't trust the schools. What I need to say is, how do we fix this? I don't know the answer to that, but I think more information is probably going to be better than less.
And they also voted to keep the levy limit the same, and they will only reconsider this motion if every admin member at Sun Prairie receives a performance improvement plan. So the levy limits will stay at $86 million for the next school year.
We're being silenced and shut down. And the fact that you have teachers and educators that who won't raise their hand to take a vote because they're afraid of retaliation is frightening. It should be frightening to you. How are you going to build that trust? That's the question. Your page, I'm sorry, your incremental information that you sheepishly put on your website about the current investigation, that's laughable. Where is the stuff towards us to show that you are building trust with the community?
And that is just one of the parents that spoke out, and this is happening at Sun Prairie's former dean of students. Robert Gilkey Messagire faces federal charges after being accused of having inappropriate sexual relationships with students. Parents were very vocal, saying that their vote is a response to the district's actions recently. Eric and Sarah, I'm going to send it back to you from now. As we know, this is a big developing story. We will have more details on what happened at tonight's annual meeting on our website right now.
Okay, thank you so much, Tanisha. In other news, a teenager was shot during what police describe as a large fight in downtown Madison. It happened on Friday. This fight broke out outside of a fraternity house near campus on Langdon Street. Video shows this. During the fight, someone pulled a gun out. Now, that video does cut away moments before the gun shot. No one was seriously hurt, and we spoke with Madison police about the investigation.
We are working with UW to reach out to the students, as well as also to keep the area safe, obviously. Our violent crimes unit is investigating this, and they're going to be following up with both the witnesses and the victims in this. And they're also sorting through a lot of video and photos that have been produced since then as well.
Police say that an 18-year-old is in custody at this point, and they're also increasing their presence on Langdon Street. Police encourage anyone with any information to please call Madison Area Crime Stoppers.
Madison's independent police monitor has resigned. Robin Copley's held that office since 2022. She told the city's Police Community Oversight Board she was stepping down for personal medical reasons. The Oversight Board will soon accept applicants for an interim monitor as it searches for her full-time replacement. The interim monitor, we should mention, will not be eligible to apply for the permanent position.
Well, the city of Madison is looking to place an age limit on products that can get you high. At tomorrow's Common Council meeting, a new ordinance is being introduced to create a 21 and up age requirement on hemp-derived THC products. This follows an uptick in emergency room visits involving THC. Now, the Common Council's president says this is just the beginning of regulation that the city's considering.
We're starting with age-restricted sales. Our goal, assuming that we can pass that, is that we would then move to licensing and zoning.
The proposed ordinance will go to 2 committees before it will head back to the Common Council November 25th.
The partial government shutdown is entering its second week now. Democrats are holding out for extending affordable care tax credits expiring this year and rollbacks to Medicaid cuts. Republicans insist the shutdown needs to end first by passing a short-term spending bill. We asked Wisconsin U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin why this extension can't wait until the end of the year.
Families are struggling right now. Their budgets are thin. They're struggling with the cost of groceries, housing, childcare. This is going to put health care out of reach for far too many Wisconsinites.
Senator Baldwin adds that insurance companies are currently deciding what their prices will be next year, and some Wisconsinites are already receiving notifications that their health care premiums are going to be higher.
Well, the countdown to Halloween is on, and things could get a little scary for your wallet. The Halloween and Costume Association says roughly 90% of Halloween products contain at least one component made overseas, usually China. Because of tariffs imposed on most Chinese imports, suppliers and retailers say this year Halloween products will cost a little more and you'll see less variety.
The majority of kids' costumes have probably gone up $3 to $4. The majority of adult costumes have probably gone up $5 to $8.
Now, some items made in Mexico, Vietnam, India, or the UK will not see a price hike, but anything involving plastics or textiles is predominantly made in China. Well, it's been a long recovery, but Christian Watson is practicing once more with the Green Bay Packers.
Now, this comes after an ACL tear last season. News 3 Now senior Packers writer Jason Wilde caught up with the wide receiver to see how he felt as he was back on the practice field.
For so much of this summer, Christian Watson felt like that kid who's been grounded by his parents, and he's looking out the window and seeing all of his friends playing, and he's stuck inside. He was on the sideline throughout training camp. He was running. He was catching balls thrown by equipment managers, but he wasn't able to practice. And that was the case for the first 4 weeks of the regular season as well. But today, he practiced for the first time as the Packers open up the 21-day practice window for their wide receiver, who has been sidelined since tearing the ACL in his right knee here at Lambeau Field in the January 5th regular season finale against the Chicago Bears. And while it felt good to run patterns and it felt good to be practicing, Watson said the best thing that he felt was being back with his guys.
One of my biggest motivators was definitely just be able to get out there with the guys for sure. I've been talking with them about getting back out there since the moment I went down. So they've been a big motivating factor for me in terms of just wanting to get back out there and be with my guys for sure.
With the Packers' conservative medical staff, it seems unlikely that the Packers would clear Christian Watson to return to game action in time for Sunday's game against the Cincinnati Bengals here at Lambeau Field and here on Channel 3. But he has made significant progress in 9 months ahead of the curve for an ACL recovery, so I wouldn't bet against him on anything at this point. We'll have full coverage of everything Watson told us and everything Packers leading up to Packers-Bengals here on Channel 3 on our website, channel3000.com. And while you're there, remember to sign up for our newsletter, which delivers our Packers coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
As Jason said, the Bengals are up next.
Without the injured Joe Burrow for a couple more months, it's a 3:25 kickoff at Lambeau Sunday right here on Channel 3.
Still ahead at 10, Illinois looks to block the deployment of National Guard troops in Chicago.
And the government...
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Democrats and Republicans continue to blame each other as the government shutdown enters week 2.
As the deadlock on Capitol Hill continues, President Trump claims that talks were underway with Democrats. The president says the discussions are focused on health care, the key issue at the center of the standoff over federal funding. However, Democratic leaders in Congress say they've heard nothing from the White House.
We are speaking with the Democrats, and some very good things could happen with respect to health care. And we could have a much better health care than we have right now. And we're talking to them.
I do not know of any Democrats who have spoken to President Trump or members of his administration on this issue of reopening the government, enacting a bipartisan spending agreement, and addressing the Republican health care crisis.
The Senate reconvened to vote on Republican and Democratic measures to reopen the government, but both proposals failed to advance. A new CBS News poll shows 39% of Americans blame President Trump and congressional Republicans for the shutdown. 30% blame Democrats and 31% blame both equally.
A federal judge has blocked the Trump administration from sending the National Guard into Portland, Oregon, and Chicago is now hoping for a similar outcome. A CBS News poll finds about 6 in 10 Americans oppose sending the Guard or military troops into U.S. cities. As federal agents clash with protesters in Chicago, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker accused the administration of trying to provoke reactions.
The Trump administration is following a playbook: cause chaos, create fear and confusion, make it seem like peaceful protesters are a mob by firing gas pellets and tear gas canisters at them.
Illinois and Chicago have now filed suit to block the Trump administration from sending 300 guard troops from the state to the city of Chicago. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says results in Washington, D.C. and also in Memphis show that federal involvement has worked to reduce crime.
Well, the fall-like weather has reached southern Wisconsin, but will it stick around?
Meteorologist Blaze Keller is here with some answers for us, Blaze.
And it will be sticking around as we head throughout the rest of the week. What won't be sticking around is the rain. High pressure is moving on in, and that is going to clear up the cloud cover and dry us out and keep us in the 60s as we head throughout the rest of the week. Dipping into those low 40s around Camp Douglas and La Crosse, where we'll be a little bit drier than, say, folks in Madison, Watertown, Janesville, and certainly there in Milwaukee, where we're going to be dealing more or less with on and off showers through at least the early morning hours on Tuesday. As we get to the late morning onward, that's when we'll sit underneath sunny conditions, and those sunny conditions stick around throughout the rest of next week, or this week, I should say. Not only that, but we also stay dry throughout this week as well, other than a little rain chance there Friday morning. This incoming high pressure system is strong, and it's going to really keep away the cloud cover and the rain as it sits over the Midwest starting later Tuesday. Expect cooler conditions Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll take a look at just how cold we'll be waking up Wednesday and Thursday morning, because that's when we could see some patchy frost. But by the time this high pressure system moves off towards the east later Thursday night, that's when we start to see southerly winds take on over. We'll start to warm on up. This is our next chance for some light rain. Again, much like the rain that we saw today, or at least some of us saw today, it's probably going to be on the lighter side than that heavy rain that we could kind of use, actually, given how dry we were in September. Low to mid 60s tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, flirting with 70 by Friday, and we're in those mid to low 70s Saturday, Sunday, Monday, into that following Tuesday as well. We are looking dry for when the Badgers play on Saturday and when Green Bay plays on Sunday. Again, we could be waking up to frost, especially Wednesday morning, as some of our temperatures dip into those upper 30s, if not the low 40s. Thursday, it's not looking as promising. Maybe some patchy frost in and around Camp Douglas in some of that higher elevated areas, but most of us will linger more or less in those low to mid 40s, not as many upper 30s by the time we're waking up Thursday as opposed to Wednesday morning. So this is, again, just a reminder that fall, much like spring, we get these warm days, we get these cool days, and it kind of is going to be flip-flopping like that until we finally make our way into the heart of winter. But as I mentioned, pretty much dry this week other than Friday morning, but it should be quiet for when the Badgers play on Saturday and for when Green Bay plays on Sunday. It looks like a lot of that rain is going to hold off until next week. So another pleasant weekend ahead and a real pleasant midweek too. Low to mid 60s tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, really cool at night.
Yes, we can finally cut off the AC.
Exactly. Thanks, Blaze.
Cooler and maybe some rain over in Milwaukee, I suppose, tonight as well, but the roof was closed and the bats were hot.
They sure were. There was no cooling. The Brewer bats down. Still to come in sports, we will give you an update on that all-important Game 2 of the NLDS next on News 3 Now.
Sure, he laces this one into left field, and the hit parade.
Bryce Terang said it best. It was incredibly important that the Brewers set the tone by taking Game 1 of the NLDS over the Cubs in dominant fashion. But taking Game 2 would do more than just set the tone. If they can take a 2-0 lead in this series, a best-of-5 at that, it would all but secure their first playoff series win since 2018. But after Game 1, the team's stars told us they're just taking things a game at a time.
We know it's one game. You know, even if we lost today, it's still one game, and they're a great team. We obviously have a lot of respect for them. And, know they have a lot of good players over there, so we know we got to continue to play well the next few games of this series.
We got to go out there and get 27 outs and play each game and each out the best of our ability. So, you know, we have to go out there and stay focused. You know, keep our focus in here. And
Game 2 in full stride as we speak. The Cubs scored 3 in the first, but just like in Game 1, the Crew were unfazed. Andrew Vaughn hit a 3-run homer in the bottom of the first. William Contreras gave the Crew the lead. And then, how about this? Jackson Churio hits a 3-run homer. And as we speak, in the 7th, the Crew up 7-3. Last year, Wisconsin football went 0 for 3 in trophy games. This year, they started 0-3 in Big Ten play. They can get rid of both of those unacceptable stats with a win this weekend when Iowa comes to town with the Heartland Trophy on the line. The Badgers looked better against Michigan this past weekend, but frankly, that's not saying a whole lot. Luke Fickell says now is the time to dig deep and see what his guys got.
But I sure as hell can tell you that it's going to be a battle. And we said it in the locker room, like, there's only one way, for where we want to go, and that's through it. And that's through these tough times. That's through these really tough situations. That's recognizing that what we have to do and how we have to grow is going to take a hell of a lot of effort, a hell of a lot of toughness, and most importantly, a hell of a lot of competitive spirit.
Well, looking ahead, Wisconsin hosts the #1 team in the country next weekend, Ohio State. And you won't have to go far to see it on TV. We'll have the Badgers and the Buckeyes right here on News 3 Now. The Pack are back this weekend. They come off their bye to host the Bengals at 3:25 on Sunday, a game you can also watch right here on News 3 Now. Some great news out of Green Bay, as Jason mentioned. Christian Watson returned to practice today after tearing his ACL in January. Well, former Sun Prairie East standout Jerry Kaminsky is thriving in his first season as a collegiate starter. He was named the Missouri Valley Conference's Offensive Player of the Week today. He scored 4 touchdowns in North Dakota's win over UNI on Saturday. Finally, let's hoop. Edgewood's Anna Miller has committed to Wisconsin women's basketball. What a get for Robin Pingeton's Badgers. The rising junior is a 2-time first-team All-State selection and has led her Crusaders to a state title and a runner-up finish. And we will finish with a final check of your first warn forecast. Blaze is back when we return.
New communication strategy, or at least new for a Democrat. It's called being interesting. And
Colbert's got Governor Gavin Newsom. CBS Tonight.
Blaze is back. Final check of the forecast.
And it is going to be a quiet night once the high pressure system moves on in, and it's going to be a quiet Tuesday. I don't expect any rain as the kids are heading off to school tomorrow and you're heading off to work, but we will be a little bit cooler waking up in the low to mid 50s. Plenty of sunshine to end Tuesday, mid 60s with a light northerly wind. Could wake up to some frost there Wednesday and Thursday morning, so definitely send the kiddos off with a jacket both those mornings. And we're looking at a dry week ahead, maybe some rain there Friday morning before a quiet and warm upcoming weekend.
Those cool mornings are here. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10. The Colbert Show coming up next.
And our morning show, of course, at 4:30. You can always find us streaming.